Imagine waking up with a clear plan. Finish that work project, clean up the living room, and call your friend back. But as soon as you sit down to work, your mind pulls you in 100 different directions. Suddenly, cleaning the kitchen feels like the most urgent task in the world, even though the deadline for that work project is just hours away. This is the reality for someone with ADHD, a constant push and pull between intentions and distractions. Let's take a closer look at the hidden struggles that shape their everyday life. Number 1, the overloaded mind, thought overload. Imagine trying to read a single paragraph, but every word triggers a new thought. Did I remember to pay that bill? Where did I put my keys? What was that noise outside? The mind of someone with ADHD can feel like a crowded marketplace, where every thought competes for attention. Now, picture this. You're sitting in a meeting, and the speaker is explaining a crucial point. But instead of absorbing what they're saying, your mind is replaying a conversation you had 3 days ago, reminding you to pick up milk, and wondering if you locked the front door. You want to focus, you need to focus. But the noise in your mind is relentless. The mental chatter is so intense that even the simplest task, like writing a grocery list, can feel like scaling a mountain. Every item you write down sparks another thought. Eggs, oh right, I need to check if the fridge is working properly. Milk, did I forget to call mom back? It's a constant loop of distractions, making it nearly impossible to stay on task. And it's not just the thoughts themselves, it's the emotional weight they carry. Imagine feeling like you're failing at something as simple as making a grocery list. It's exhausting, and it chips away at self-confidence, making everyday tasks feel like insurmountable challenges. Number 2, the time trap, time perception distortion. You know how time flies when you're having fun? Well, for someone with ADHD, time flies regardless of what they're doing, or it drags on endlessly. The concept of time can feel completely foreign, like trying to hold water in your hands. Picture this. You set a timer for 15 minutes to take a break before returning to work. But in what feels like 5 minutes, you look up and 2 hours have passed. The entire afternoon is gone, and now the panic sets in. This is time blindness, a common struggle for those with ADHD. Now, flip the scenario. You're supposed to leave for an appointment in 20 minutes, but your brain convinces you that you still have plenty of time. You start scrolling through social media, tidying up your desk, even getting lost in a YouTube rabbit hole. Suddenly, you look at the clock, and you're already 10 minutes late. That feeling of being constantly behind, of always chasing time, is a crushing reality for those with ADHD. It's not about being irresponsible or careless. It's about genuinely struggling to gauge how long tasks will take. From cooking dinner to getting dressed in the morning, every activity becomes a guessing game. And the emotional toll? Guilt, frustration, the constant sense of letting people down. Number 3, the task tug of war, the unfocused focus. Imagine sitting down to write a report, but instead of typing, you find yourself reorganizing your desk. Again, ADHD isn't just about being distracted, it's about misdirected focus. You know the report is urgent, but the cluttered desk suddenly becomes a magnet for your attention. Let's take it up a notch. You finally convince yourself to focus on the report, but instead your brain latches onto a completely unrelated task, like alphabetizing the spice rack or cleaning the refrigerator. It's not procrastination in the traditional sense. It's a genuine misalignment of priorities. Your brain is screaming, "Work on the report," but your body is scrubbing the kitchen sink as if it holds the secret to life. On the other hand, hyperfocus can be just as disruptive. You start watching a documentary about space exploration, and suddenly, 5 hours have passed. You've missed your lunch break, forgotten to respond to that important email, and neglected to pick up the laundry. Hyperfocus can be incredibly productive, until it's not. It's as if the rest of the world disappears, and you're trapped in a single task, unable to pull yourself away. For people with ADHD, this constant seesaw between unfocus and hyperfocus creates a roller coaster of productivity, making it difficult to manage priorities and meet deadlines effectively. Number 4, the mundane mountain, routine resistance. Doing the dishes, folding laundry, or sorting mail. They seem simple enough, right? But for someone with ADHD, mundane tasks can feel like climbing a mountain. It's not laziness, it's the mental effort required to stay focused on repetitive tasks. Let's break it down. You see a pile of laundry that needs folding. You know it'll only take 10 minutes, but the thought of sitting still and doing something so repetitive feels like a drain on your mental energy. Instead, you find yourself doing anything else. rearranging books, scrolling through your phone, or even watching a show you've seen 100 times. But there's more. The monotony can actually feel physically uncomfortable. The brain craves stimulation, and folding clothes just doesn't provide it. So it seeks out anything more engaging, even if that means cleaning out the junk drawer instead of tackling the actual task at hand. And then there's the guilt. The mountain of unfolded clothes is a constant, nagging reminder of another failure, another task you couldn't complete. It's a cycle that feeds itself, draining motivation and reinforcing the belief that even simple tasks are insurmountable. Number 5, emotional roller coaster. Ever felt your emotions flip like a light switch? For those with ADHD, emotional regulation can be just as challenging as maintaining focus. 1 minute, you're calm and collected. The next, a small inconvenience sends you spiraling into frustration. Imagine spilling coffee on your shirt right before a big meeting. For someone without ADHD, it's a minor annoyance. But for someone with ADHD, it can feel like the world is collapsing. The intensity of the emotional response can be overwhelming, leading to frustration, anger, or even tears. These emotional swings aren't intentional. They're the result of a brain that struggles to regulate emotional responses, making everyday stressors feel like monumental challenges. Number 6, social roadblocks. Imagine trying to follow a conversation, but your mind keeps drifting to random thoughts. Did I lock the door? Is that person staring at me? Social interactions can be a minefield for people with ADHD. The impulsivity and tendency to interrupt can come off as rude, even if it's unintentional. You know you shouldn't cut someone off mid-sentence, but your brain is already a step ahead, blurting out what you're thinking before you even realize it. And then there's the zoning out. You're in a group conversation, but halfway through, you realize you haven't heard a word. You've been mentally replaying a scene from your favorite movie or planning what to eat for dinner. The social awkwardness that follows can be crippling, leaving you feeling isolated and misunderstood. Number 7, rejection sensitivity. You send a text and don't get a reply right away. Instantly, your mind spirals. Did I say something wrong? Are they mad at me? For people with ADHD, rejection sensitivity can feel like a constant emotional bruise. Even minor setbacks, like a friend canceling plans, can trigger a wave of self-doubt and anxiety. This hypersensitivity can make it difficult to take constructive feedback without feeling personally attacked. Number 8, exhaustion. Imagine running a marathon every single day, but instead of pounding the pavement, you're running it in your mind. That's what living with ADHD can feel like, a relentless mental marathon that never ends. It's not just about staying organized or keeping track of time. It's about the sheer mental effort it takes to function in a world that demands focus, structure, and consistency. People with ADHD often wake up already feeling exhausted, as if they've been battling distractions and chaos in their sleep. The mental energy spent filtering out intrusive thoughts, redirecting attention, and resisting the urge to jump from one task to another can be utterly draining. And by the time they get through the day, even simple tasks like making dinner or responding to a text can feel like monumental hurdles. But it's not just mental exhaustion. It's emotional too. The constant frustration of forgetting things, missing deadlines, and feeling misunderstood can wear down a person's self-esteem. They might beat themselves up over what others see as small mistakes, feeling like they're failing at basic adulting. And then there's burnout, the inevitable crash that comes from constantly running on empty. For someone with ADHD, the pressure to keep up with life's demands can be overwhelming, leading to periods of intense fatigue, brain fog, and a complete lack of motivation. It's not laziness, it's the aftermath of fighting an invisible battle every single day. By understanding the complexities of ADHD, we can foster greater empathy and support for those who struggle with it daily. Because at the end of the day, the more we learn, the more we can help create a world that doesn't just tolerate differences, but celebrates them.